Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro, hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist. Today we're going to talk about the difference between addiction to love and avoidance. So love addiction, love avoidance, and how it plays a role in your current life, the relationships that you are choosing, whether they're healthy or unhealthy, particularly if they're unhealthy and you're looking for a way to break that. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking for a powerful way using hypnosis and rapid transformational therapy to go into your inner mind, change your subconscious beliefs, and break those patterns, those unhealthy, toxic patterns that you have in your life, and are looking for a powerful way to heal so that you can have the healthy relationship that you long for and you desire, then make sure to schedule a time for us to talk. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between the love addiction and the love avoidance. So in love addiction, what it is this process of becoming addicted to love, right? And you hear songs about this all the time. Might as well face it, I'm addicted to love. And it's all over. It's all over media. And it's like, oh, I'm in love and I'm in love, right? And people are posting constantly their highlight reel of their relationships. Love can feel like an addiction, especially if you've been in relationships that are severely toxic, emotionally abusive. It feels like the highs and the lows. And it often gets explained as it feels like I'm addicted. It's like a drug. And I just can't. It's like, I don't know why I can't stop like reaching out to that person, or I don't know why I let them back in constantly. It can certainly feel like an addiction to love. So we're going to talk about that today. The avoidance of love and the addiction to love. So most often after you have gotten out of that toxic and unhealthy relationship where you felt like you were addicted, uh, there's biochemical reasons for that as well. There's only so many hormones through the human body. They're the same when it is an actual drug and the same when it feels like a drug, right? Placebo is the physician within. So it certainly feels the same for many, many reasons. We're not going to quite get into that today. But after you get out of that toxic and unhealthy relationship, and all of a sudden you kind of realize what you've gone through and you're on that journey to heal yourself, suddenly you think, I'm not going to date. But what you want desire the most is to be in a healthy relationship. But then you find that maybe you start dating again. It's difficult to trust, right? To see those red flags. Am I getting love bombed? What is this? And then you notice you start to avoid the very love that you're seeking. So we're going to talk about the love addiction and the love avoidance. In love addiction, what it is this process of seeking romance, right? We want that Rico Suave, like all those Disney Frozen movies, of like this person to come in and sweep us off our feet and have that happily ever after ending that is so portrayed throughout society. It becomes a form of escaping reality. This addiction, this process to seeking romance, is actually a really easy way to avoid escaping reality, to really avoid processing, healing, and dealing with what's going on in here and in here from the past. So you notice these cycles and these patterns, these toxic, unhealthy relationships. You get out of one only to get into another. For love addicts, these people are constantly chasing like that honeymoon phase. And then when it starts to die down, because it always does, if you stay in any relationship for any length of time, it starts to die down. Certain people get addicted to chasing the high, the honeymoon phase, or the love bombing phase if it's been a really toxic and unhealthy relationship. You experience this high during those phases while falling in love or fantasizing about this partner, this relationship with this other person that takes place of authentic bonding. It takes place with another person. Relationships often consist of trauma bonding or fantasy bonding based on early attachment wounds. So that's why, with anyone that I work with, when we're looking at breaking the pattern of relationships, we're looking at your attachment styles, those early attachment wounds, those inner unmet needs, for an easier way to explain. You have unmet needs that are still within you from childhood, from what you learned from seeing your parents' relationship, from maybe step parents' relationship, grandparents' relationships, uncle, aunt, whoever it was. You learn these things, and there are still unmet needs inside of you that are now seeking to be filled within a relationship. So, those who seem to be addicted to love may seek relationships out of desperation. They don't want to be alone forever. And they're constantly saying it was the other person's fault, it didn't work out. And they have a list of reasons why based upon the shortcomings of the other person. They seek relationships out of desperation and this desire to just feel relief from loneliness, emptiness, And most say, I don't want to be alone forever. And that's why I stayed for so long. But those who seem addicted to love or are not fulfilled with a single status is because of this attempt to avoid that feeling, to have that relief by being in a relationship. And then what that relief is, that relief from loneliness, that relief from the emptiness that they feel in here, and then seek to exit the relationship, end the relationship, break up, get divorced, or whatever, as soon as that relationship begins to trigger their inner fears of abandonment and intimacy. I'm not getting too close. I learned my lesson. Last time was the last time, right? You start to say all these things when really it was really good. But then, second that you start to get triggered and hurt inside, all done. And then you go into another relationship and start that love bombing or honeymoon phase all over again to get that high again after that low. So this relates a lot to our attachment styles. There's the secure, there's the avoidant, there's the anxious. And if you don't know what yours is, there's easy quizzes out there to just search attachment style quiz. The thing is, we inherit these attachment styles from our caregivers, from our upbringing, and these situations where maternal or fraternal experiences were either able or unable to practice and model the self-regulation, the self-soothing. This is really common with people who express having depression, having anxiety, and you were raised by someone who was toxic or had signs of depression or anxiety. And a lot of people say that runs in my family. And you can see how you become addicted to that same cycle to seek to relieve the pain of your inability to properly self soothe, self regulate, and pursue relationships as something outside of yourself in order to feel complete. You probably heard the term, you complete me. No one else can complete you. The only person that can ever complete you is you. But most people who would say that they're addicted to love or love that high, that feeling, flooding with those endorphins, those love hormones, the things that you get in the beginning of a relationship, become addicted to that because they are avoiding having to complete themselves, and they're looking for that completion in someone outside of themselves in the relationship. So there's love addiction and love avoidance. There are ways that they are different and ways that they are the same. So the love addiction, what that presents, what that shows up, and what that feels like is viewing potential partners, whoever it is that you're dating or starting a relationship with, as this idealized person who's going to save you, rescue you, be your happily ever after. Or love addiction also shows up like over assigning energy or time towards the relationship in order to cope with anxiety around intimacy. And remember, intimacy is into me see. It is truly seeing into yourself. But you over assign this energy, this time towards the relationship in order to cope with the anxiety around having to take a look within yourself. Again, going back to those unmet needs. Love addiction also looks like obsession or this fantasy, like we are going to get married and then we're going to have this and then we're going to have that and then we're going to have that. That future faking that's often painted within the realms of a toxic relationship. But in the minds of the other person, it's this fantasy that gets expressed to takes the place of real connection. Again, real connection is intimacy and it has to start within yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to be present anywhere else. But obsession and fantasy often takes the place of that real, true, authentic, genuine connection that most are looking for in a relationship. But love addiction is also denying red flags. And I hear this a lot with my clients. I knew it. I had that feeling, that gut feeling, that intuition. Something was off. And I knew it all along. Like now looking back, I could see it. So it's denying the red flags, making reasons or excuses for the red flags. Maybe your partner has opened up to you and shared with you about their past traumas. And oh my gosh, the empathetic, caring, nurturing part of you can really just empathize with that and think that in order for them to heal, they need your love. And you deny red flags in order to alter the needs to sustain this connection with this person. Those are all signs of love addiction. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's love avoidance. What love avoidance looks like is often when you get too intimate. You get too, right? You're kind of coming out of that honeymoon phase, and it's like, oh, you know what? Or you've been in a series or string of toxic and unhealthy relationships, and now it's just like, I'm not ready to date, but more than anything, I want to be in a relationship. So you're avoiding opening up, avoiding connecting, avoiding love. And what this looks like in the dynamic and realm of a relationship is frequently taking on the savior, the rescue role in a new relationship. It looks like codependency. It looks like being that people pleaser, that fixer. That is avoiding love. Another love avoidant sign is creating intensity outside the relationship, again, in order to cope with the anxiety around intimacy. Love avoidance also looks like associating early experiences of love with your parents, with your caregivers, with whoever it was that you really wanted to connect with, maybe your first friendship. Associating early experiences of love with guilt, with obligation, with enmeshment, with entanglement, that having to perform in order to be loved. A lot of stuff here. I know that love avoidance also looks like feeling resentful towards your partner, which often codependents become very resentful because they never feel appreciated. They feel like they're constantly giving but never receiving. So feeling resentful, feeling overwhelmed by this partner's bids for connection. Maybe you have a different love language and you're just constantly fighting, arguing with that person. That is a sign that within you, you are avoiding love, the love that you really seek. And there are overlaps here, similarities between people who present with love addiction and then those who present with love avoidance. It's not just black and white, there are areas and shades of gray overlap. So those are fear of intimacy and abandonment. Both love avoidance and both those who are addicted to love have a deep fear of intimacy and abandonment. And this shows up on both sides. They may co-occur with other addictions. So maybe it's, going out and drinking or being so fixated on, different physical forms of pleasure, or maybe going out and cheating on a partner. So it co-occurs with other addictions. Addiction meaning like unhealthy things, right? You can be addicted to like eating healthy food. I mean, everything in moderation, but you know what I mean here. It also overlaps in the area of experiencing love as codependency. So again, people pleasing, the fixing, the resentment towards being the giver, but not ever receiving this. And those people, the love addicts and the love avoidance, are often trauma bonded with each other. It's often why you hear the narcissist gets connected with the empath or with the codependent, because they become trauma bonded with each other. So another way that this shows up, there are staples, if you will, of love addiction. And what those are this obsession, just obsessed. Everyone I work with says, Sarah, it's like I'm obsessed, like I just can't stop. This inability to focus on anything outside of the relationship, the partner, the intense preoccupation or fantasy about the person or the relationship, whether that is still going or whether it has ended. You find that you're working, but really all you're doing is just replaying those ruminating thoughts in your head, and you're just obsessed with it, and you don't understand why. You know it wasn't healthy, but it's like, I can't, I don't know what to do. That is a sure staple sign of this love addiction, that high and avoiding all of the things that you need to see and heal within yourself to break all of that. This compulsion, the compulsion is like this inability to control certain behaviors. Maybe it's like constantly, stalking them or checking up on them. Maybe that person has moved on to another relationship, maybe even moved on to marry this next person. And yet you still are looking at their, social media, you're following them, you're stalking them, whether it's physically or online, just obsessive texting. I just like, like just still going off on them in text messages just to get a response. And that feeling that even if they respond back negatively and say horrible things about me, it's like or as if that's better than nothing. Another sure sign of this love addiction is cost. And I'm not talking just financial cost. There can be that as well, but the emotional cost. Maybe losing your job over it because you're not focused on your job. You are using your time to do those things, check up on them. Maybe you're late, maybe you're sick, maybe you were up all night and you just slept in. And so maybe it's losing a job. Often it's losing friendships. You can't talk to your friends about this because A, they're sick of hearing it, and B, they're tired of you maybe lying to them about it. Oh, hey, did you talk to this person? What's going on with them? Oh, no, we haven't talked for a while. And they're like, right. And they catch you in lies. Or freedom, like this freedom as a result of the relationship, or continuing to seek out another relationship, another partner despite these negative consequences. You find that you continue to go from one toxic relationship to another. I call it relationship jumping. And then there's this tolerance. So the tolerance is engaging in risky behaviors over time. And there's this tolerance to go do things, maybe it's stalking or letting them back in your life and engaging in really unhealthy things that are risky to your mental health, your physical health, whatever it is. And it's like, gosh, I know, why do I do this? Engaging in riskier behaviors over time that create that same effect of escaping reality, like maybe cheating on a partner, maybe infidelity, maybe you're married and this other relationship is outside of the marriage. So seeking a relationship outside of your current relationship, that is definitely a risky behavior. And it does generate that effect of escaping reality, escaping and avoiding the things that are going on in here, those unhealed, unmet needs that you need to address in order to heal. So if you find that you are going, yep, wish that was a no, but that's a yep. And you are either love addicted or love avoidant, and you're tired of it, and you see the pain, the heartache, the impact that it's had on maybe you, maybe your friendships, maybe your relationships, and you are stuck. STUCK, you are stuck. You don't know what to do to break it. Well, you're in luck. That is what hypnosis, that is what rapid transformational therapy helps you go into your inner mind, your subconscious mind, into those unhealed, unmet wounds and begin to heal them from within. So if that is where you're at and you're looking for a powerful, effective way to heal, please reach out, please connect with me. I do one-on-one, if you just want to share your personal story and kind of wondering what should I do, you can send me a connection through Vizio, or if you're looking to work more one-on-one with someone, then please click on the banner. It'll pull up my website. It's Rewrite Your Life, and we can connect there, talk more about using hypnosis and rapid transformational therapy to heal from these love addictions or these love avoidant behaviors. Thank you.